Hey, welcome everybody. François Letarte for my role-playing channel. Here I come again with a video. I have an opinion about a rumor that is running around. Maybe it's more than a rumor. I don't really know. I haven't read enough about this, but the upcoming 6th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. Okay. I haven't read that much. I read a post about I don't remember where on the internet, where someone was revealing names of people who would expectedly work on this next edition. And those names were Ed Greenwood, Tracy Hickman, and Luke Gygax, which are, well, household names. You know, we kind of we are kind of confident when we see these names because they are highly associated with Dungeons and Dragons in its glory days. Okay, so but an interesting thing that was said into the article is that those three people are not game designers; they are world designers. So what will come out of this 6th edition? Okay, I'm sure that in Hasbro, someone is very nervous and he fears that he will lose his jobs if the next book will not sell enough, because the last edition of Dungeons and Dragons obviously didn't work as well as they would have expected. We haven't heard that much about Dungeons and Dragons 2024. Uh, I know some people who have tried it. They're liking it. Okay, they enjoyed this version of the game. Some others just don't like the feel of the game, which is as far as it can be from its original design a long time ago. So, but at the same time, the game didn't sold well. And was it a really necessary game? Okay. Um, Even though I don't really like Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, I've tried it and I gave it a chance and never got into it. Okay, I'm more at ease with something else. But nevertheless, I think that it will be hard to remove the impact of the 5th edition of that game into the role-playing world. I I have a feeling, and I'm not an expert in marketing, but I have a feeling that bringing up a 6th edition won't erase what was there before. It won't. Um, let's throw some numbers out of my head like that. The editions of Dungeons and Dragons that have lasted the longest time. It was Advanced First Edition for roughly 10 years. Advanced Second Edition, which for roughly 10 years, and 5th Edition for 10 years. Okay. Otherwise, the other editions of Dungeons and Dragons didn't last that long. 3rd Edition and 3.5 was really quickly swept away in a sense by 4th Edition, and Paizo was wise enough to take it back because they knew that people enjoyed the 3rd edition. Many players enjoyed it, so they took it into their own hands. And as for the first few editions of Dungeons and Dragons, it was kind of a play test that brought a more complete game. But just to say that it will have, I think the 5th edition will be the edition that will be harder to erase from the gamer's DNA, the modern gamer's DNA. And the reason is that the community is very strong, and even stronger than 1st and 2nd edition, although there are many people who are still claiming that this is their best edition. They will orally, okay, try to verbally, they will try to get people into being interested into them, okay. But 5th edition was with the internet. It was at the right time. They had the right product. They have pleased many people, and really in real time on the internet while the game was there was communities building. There was the OGL that let people publish their stuff for the game. In brief, they were taking the games in their own hand And I really think that is the spirit of the game. You take a role-playing game, you bring it to your table, and you modify it to suit your needs. And that's what you were seeing on the internet. The community is strong. The sharing of information is at its highest peak. And I just think that Hasbro has just, I don't know how they could have done it, but I think they should have built upon the fact that there's a community. I feel that this is something that they haven't understood. Seeing some of the, last couple of years mishaps and scandals, I don't think they were understanding the game for what it was. And so this is the community game, okay? This is a game for everyone. So will they go over there with 6th edition? And like I said a little earlier, will 6th edition will remove 5th edition, its impact? Because it's quite strong over there. And I have some kind of proof of that from my own little experience. I'm dealing with a lot of young players, high school kids. I'm running them games of another game than Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. But they are talking to me about, hey, we have started the game. Okay. And they say to me that it's Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. They don't go with 2024. Even most of them even don't know that it exists. I have 3, for my high school kids, 3 of them have their own games of 5th edition. Okay. And quite recently, my 2 sons, each on their own side, not together, are involved in games that have started really recently, in the last few weeks. It is 5th edition. This is not 2024. Why is so? The community is so strong that you just have to reach your hand on the internet and you will have something. You don't need Hasbro, you don't need Wizards of the Coast. Everything is there by people who are enjoying the game. They have worked some of the stuff on the game for everyone to share and enjoy. The game is there. The game is run by people who are really highly motivated by the game. And most of the D&D players, the modern D&D players, don't care about 2024. Okay, so Hasbro should have built something onto this. Because I don't think the solution is to have a new book and try to sell them. It will be very hard to remove that. And I don't know if they are conscious of that, but that's my take on it. Okay. Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition 2014, yeah, the 5th edition was just there on the right time with the right, they have taken the right bus into the internet with the right product, okay? Something that pleased everyone, and it's all there, it's all granite. It won't disappear tomorrow, it's there. The community is there. The game really pleases millions of players, okay? Millions of players who don't need another game. They don't need to be into, a new version of Dungeons and Dragons. They have found, many people have found their sweet spot with that one, okay? Just go back into the past, there's some editions. 2nd edition, yeah, fixed a lot of issues of 1st edition. Okay, of course, there are people who are still into the advanced 1st edition, but I think the 2nd edition was a needed one, okay, in a sense. But as for 3rd edition, well, it's questionable. I really jumped into that train, though. But the 5th edition was there, and there's so many positive things being said about this edition that I feel that we don't need a new Dungeons and Dragons. Instead, Wizards of the Coast should offer stuff that is inspired by the community, inspired by that drive, and just go with the community, trying to produce complementary complementary complements of what is already there. Sorry for the word searching, but yeah. What do you think, my 28 viewers? So yeah, is a sixth edition really needed? I think if they are looking at their wallet, they will say yes. Hasbro will say yes. Okay, we need to sell books. That's their thing. They're not really here to please us. They're here to make money. But as I can see, the average player doesn't need that, right? François Letarte for my role-playing channel, and up to next time, I hope that you have as much fun in your life as in your games. Goodbye.